We talked about what service is, why you need it. What's the logical next question? How? How can you provide really good service, what we call top service? Now, the first thing that you could do is training. Have you ever noticed when they build a billion-dollar hotel that they invest in rooms, in kitchens, in clothing for the staff, but not so much in training? It's absolutely mind-blowing. The small budgets or no budgets which are foreseen to train staff in any sort of company. So training is the first thing. Now why? Because if you don't know the techniques, how to welcome people, you cannot apply them. For example, athletes. There's no athlete winning an Olympic gold medal with only training once a month. They have to train multiple times a week. It's a constant effort. You know, for example, this gentleman? Yes, exactly, he's a chef, as you can see by his clothing. But who is he? He is called Joël Robuchon. He's a French chef. He's not just any chef. He used to be the chef of the century, the chef of the 20th century. He owns in between 25 and 30 Michelin stars, depending on what year it is. Do you think he's in all these restaurants at the same time? Of course not. He's got a 3-star Michelin restaurant in Las Vegas, he's got one in Tokyo, he's got one in Paris. But his team is very highly trained. Another gentleman you might know is this person, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He has been more than 5 times world champion in snooker. He has performed the 147, which is the highest break you can make in snooker, over a dozen times on television. Why? Because he is highly trained. He trains over 8 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So they're highly trained. And I would recommend exactly the same for you or your team. If you don't know how to shake hands properly, well, you're not trained in it. So look it up. The next thing in how to provide really good service is a very interesting ingredient, if you know what I mean. This ingredient will allow you to not only give service, but top service. This ingredient will make sure that you, on a Monday morning, if you don't really feel like it, or on a Friday afternoon, just before the weekend, give every customer the same level of service. And that ingredient is called discipline. Now, discipline is what will set you apart. Is what will set you apart in terms of giving every customer that high-level service and not missing out one time. That is so important. Have a look at this picture, for example. Our butler students. This is how they start the day. So the day in this butler school starts at 8:30 in the morning. Now, it starts actually much earlier, but at 8:30 we do what we call the lineup. And the lineup is they stand next to each other, not maybe like this on a staircase, but next to each other. And what the head butler will do, the head butler is the student who is responsible for the entire group. He or she will actually check everyone in terms of their grooming and clothing. And they will do a complete check from head to toe. On top of that, they will do an information handover. They will tell everyone what the weather will be like, what the events will be in the house, or any other news in the world, because that might be very important to the butler working for a high net worth individual. We do this 1 to 3 times a day. Discipline. We never miss out on it, because we want to serve every possible guest on the same high level. We introduced the term CHO. You probably know CEO, CFO, COO, there are a bunch of COs, but we have the CHO, which is the Chief Hospitality Officer. Now, we were working for a car brand and they asked us to have a look at this. Now, what is a Chief Hospitality Officer? First of all, it's somebody who will outline the hospitality program in the company. On top of that, it's somebody who will actually assist all the employees in carrying out that program. So that means that they will write out certain procedures in how to welcome guests. Now, how did we come to that? A while ago, I had a CEO calling me of a premium car brand, and he asked me this question. He said, why is it when people come to our car dealership and they buy a $150,000 car, and I go, for example, to a hotel where I only pay 150 euros, when I get up in the morning, I get a nice cup of coffee, a hot roll, maybe a freshly squeezed orange juice. But when people come to our car dealership and they pay $150,000, we serve them this. And I answered this gentleman, it's probably because you don't have any discipline in your hospitality program. It's unseen what certain car dealers will offer you, even if you pay a huge amount of money for the product you just bought. Another thing which is easily overlooked in terms of discipline is emails. Emails is actually an electronic mail, and a lot of people lack discipline in writing emails. For example, they don't write any salutations. If they have, for example, 2 or 3 emails going back and forward, they don't even write dear sir, dear madam, etc. Their signature might be incomplete or not really readable. And last but not least, a lot of people write emails like they write SMS, like they write text messages. Why? Well, it's beginning to become a normal thing to answer really short, but you shouldn't, because an email, as I said, is an electronic letter. Can you imagine when you would have been sending letters 30, 40 years ago, like we are sending emails now? That would look something like this. So keep that discipline in your company. Keep that discipline in your team.